皆様ごきげんよう。女神好きの屋根裏配信へようこそいらっしゃいました。Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the follow-up stream of Study with Mizuki 2024. My apologies for being late. And so sorry. I am not feeling too good at the moment, and so we'll try to go through the things that we need to go through as much as we can. But again, my apologies. ということで皆様ごきげんよう。ちゃんと始まってますかねはい。目の水木の屋根裏教室へようこそいらっしゃいました。こちら、言語学習チャレンジのフォローアップ配信となっております。There will be 3 parts. We will go through and review your posts. After that, I will try to answer your questions and go through any of your sentences that you have practiced making. ということでね、一応日本語学習者様向けの配信となっておりますけれども、よろしければいろいろ、ご質問とかどうぞ。Sorry. I'm not feeling too well. I think it's just the weather and I have a shortness of breath, but it's not asthma, so no need to worry. すいません、ちょっとね、多分低気圧で息切れとかもするんですけど、喘息とかじゃないんで、今日はそういう意味ではね、大丈夫です。なのでちょっとね、お聞き苦しいかと思うんですけど、So I know, sorry, it might be a little hard for you to hear me today, but again, my apologies. Can you hear the background music? BGM ちゃんと聞こえてますかね？はい。タイムトゥトゥーロさん、リーデンさん、アブセントコーデルさん、小曽谷さん、ジュンさん、あじゅかさん、ごきげんよう、こんばんは。はい。OK。では、We will go ahead and go through こうすればいいのかな？ Oh, wait. Yep. Can you see this? Yep. Okay, it's on. ということでね、よいしょ。We will go through and review your posts first. 皆様のね、ポストから見ていけたらなと思います。Today, I believe, marks the 41st day of the challenge. No, the 40th day of the challenge. 確かね、今日ね、40日目かな41日目か40日目かだと思うんですけど、皆様毎日お疲れ様です。Good job, everybody. 40 days, 41 days. I don't remember exactly how long, but I know it's been by latest, yes. Should it be the 40th day or the 41st day today? The last time we did a follow-up stream was, I believe, on the 28th. 確かね、前回フォローアップ配信したのは4月の 28? あったね、7か 27? 28でしたね。だったので、Okay, we'll start here because I remember seeing Sneaky Doodle Sons. なんでいつもこうなっちゃうの？ Sorry, wait a slight moment.Please. Okay. はい。we went through Sneaky Doodle Son's post last time. 本山さんこんばんは。すいません。ちょっとね、今日ね、体調があんまり芳しくなくお聞き苦しいところもあるかと思うんですけれども、はい。楽しんでいっていただけたらと思います。ということで、Okay, we'll start with Gleipnir-san's post. Good job! Gleipnir-san has been really consistent. Gleipnir-san ね、すっごい すっごいね、すごいね、ほぼ毎日投稿してくださってて、すごいです。ありがとうございます。シャドウヒルさんこんばんは。ごきげんよう。と、これね、just one thing. It's really hard. I know it's really hard sometimes to hear the difference between the normal hiragana and then the one with dakutens on it. But this one is supposed to be ここの活動、ここですね。It should be ここ here is ここ。I'll put it on the chat. ちょっとチャット欄に、コメント欄に書こうかなと思います。はい。仕事に行く、昼食を食べる、バスに乗る、働く。働くのは嫌ですね。働く。ということで。Good job. So just be careful when you start memorizing the hiragana with dakuten on, because sometimes it's really hard to hear the differences when you start off. ということでね、濁点付きのものと濁点がないものの区別、ちょっと難しいこともあるので気をつけてください。Good job! ということで、ありがとうございます。皆様拍手。Everybody clap. Hi, if you would like to stay on Twitter, you'll be able to see all of the posts that I retweet on Twitter as well. ということで、Twitter にね、タイムライン見ておいていただけたら、私が今からリツイートするものもね、たくさん見れると思いますので、よろしくお願いします。KP さんごきげんよう、Welcome。はい。ハッキーさんもごきげんよう、Welcome ハッキーさん。ということでね、リンさんです。Okay, next, リンさん。I challenged myself to only working on my thesis for a few days. I made considerable progress and the deadline is closer than before. Thesis! はい、気温とか高いとかね、水曜日週真ん中、こちら、私の YouTube のね、ショート動画からしていただいてますね。ありがとうございます。Thank you for using my YouTube shorts. Thank you for learning from my YouTube shorts. でかいとこ。ありがとうございます。Good job. And then I've been seeing Leibner-san work on hiragana. For those of you who might be new here or who might have missed this, I did a hiragana intensive course at the end of last month. You'll be able to check it if you're a member, starting level 2 member, and I believe that's why. ということで、あいうえおですね。ひらがな might be the most basic thing, but it's always nice to go back to the basics, and I commend you for that. はい、ということで、ひらがなね、一応っていうか、やっぱり、初期一番、基礎ではあるんですけど、なんだかんだ難しいのでね、I think it's really hard sometimes, especially when you're learning a new language, obviously. The letters are always really hard, so good job on that. ってことで、すごい。はい。Finally managed to catch up again. I know, catching up is the hardest. このね、毎日なんでね。I'm starting to realize how hard it is to do things every day. Posting YouTube shorts every day has made me realize. So maybe next year I will maybe do a challenge of 500 words instead of 1,000. Because this I know has been hard for a lot of us, but still I commend you for all of the things that you go through and the things you do. ということで、リンさんありがとうございます。ウェイプナーさんもありがとうございます。Last post was あいうえお、so this post is かきくけこですね。リツイートしとこう。で、かきくけこ。Okay, so for those of you who are watching, I just want to remind... why is my... ちょっと待って。I don't know why. ちょっと待って、but my camera's off. あれ What's going on? どうしちゃったんだろう the things that I have to go through. ちょっと待ってください。A little second, please. よいしょ。あれおかしいな。Well, at least I'm smiling on the camera. カメラが止まった時にちゃんと笑顔でよかったじゃないとね。ちょっと恥ずかしく。OK. I'm moving finally. はい、ということで動けました。はい。Okay, continuing on. では続き。So, I was talking about 木についてね、話してたと思います。ひらがなの木。ひらがな木。I want you to be a little bit careful. I don't know if you can see, but Gleipner-san is writing in the right way. The third stroke and the fourth stroke, they don't... Oh my goodness. ちょっと待って、やば。My phone popped. こんなことあるの？スマホが飛んできた。I think there's a poltergeist here. Okay. では、木の、書き順ね、3本目と4本目が続かないって話ね。The third stroke and the fourth stroke of 木, they don't continue. It's not continuous. That is one thing I want you to keep in mind. Because a lot of times, there are a lot of fonts that writes it in a way that these two lines are connected, but imagine that they're like cursives of Japanese, and it's a stylized form. It's not the right way of writing. You'll never see anybody write it in that way. And so just like Leipner-san is doing here, remember that the two lines, the third stroke and the fourth stroke, they are not going to connect with each other. はい、ということで。Good job. Good job. よいしょ。次。I want to try practicing the massive form on the next ones. Massive forms. Great. So I was also thinking about what to teach at the end of this month. I'll probably do another morning streams. And I'm thinking of doing a 3-day course or a 4-day course where I teach sentence structures, desu and massive forms, and groups of Japanese. So hopefully you'll be able to join me there. But yes, massive forms are a little bit hard. Just remember that when you're starting off, it might be easier to memorize the groups, the 3 different groups of Japanese. Because depending on the groups, the way you conjugate verbs into the massive form is different. For those of you who don't know what massive forms are sentence endings for verbs. In Japanese, we have 2 different kind of speech formats, I guess. A casual or colloquial form and the polite form, which is often called keigo. You usually don't really speak in a way that characters of anime speak because they never really not a lot of them use the polite format. But in reality, 85 to 90% or even more of the times, you'll use the polite format in everyday life. It is almost considered rude not to, especially when you're talking to others at work, to people that you don't know, to shop clerks. And so learning the polite form keigo is always a good way to go. So, masu form, 使える by the way, to attend is not always it's not a commonly used verb, but maybe it's used by people like me, like maids. 使える turns into 使えます. This is group 2 verbs. I will teach you this another time, or you can watch one of my videos that I talk about the 3 different groups of Japanese verbs. But 使える, you get rid of the ru, you add ます. 使えます. 飲む and 会う is group 1 verbs. And so you take the last letter of the verb and you change the last vowel of the last letter into a E sound, E vowel. And then you add masu. Nomu becomes nomimasu. Au becomes aimasu. Aimasu actually is not the masu form of au. Au means to meet. Let me write it on the chat. Au means meet. Why is it all caps? Au is meet. Imasu is the masu form. But aimasu isn't the masu form. Itmasu is the to be able to do format. Aeru means to be able to meet. So, depending on the sound, it changes. You usually change the meaning. So just keep that in mind. Good job. Right. Just keep in mind that imasu is the correct masu form. Aemasu is the to be able to do format, and it will mean can meet. Where's the to be able to meet / can meet? Okay, keep that in mind. But good job. もうよくできました。でははい、今日の自分の左手が嫌いだと思う左手嫌いにならないでI think it would honestly help if you write top to bottom, because when I was in elementary school, one of the kids in my class was a lefty, and I always envied that kid because at least for Japanese classes we would write top to bottom, right to left, and so that student never had to have a dirty pencil strokes. If you go the traditional route はいそうですね Okay, so many movements give my hand a hard time. Also, I hope to write that correctly. I assume so since I got the kanji recommendation, but it might be wrong. Oh, the kanji recommendation, you are correct. So, okay, sashisu seso. Same with ki, by the way, everybody. Sa. Just like ki, the second stroke and the third stroke of sa, they don't connect. さもきと同様、この2つはこの2つの線は一緒になりません。続きません。So keep that in mind. But good job, yay! ということで、Day 31. ありがとうございます。Yes, this is something I wanted to share. Social media in Japanese is not social media. We call them SNS. Social networking system. So if you say social media in Japanese, people will most likely not understand or not get it. So make sure you remember the term SNS. Yeah, doing the strokes in reverse seems to work a bit, but it depends. Yeah, it depends. Using the right stroke order also does help in writing them cleanly. So, but yeah, either way, yay. Okay, everybody. Again, remember SNS. SNS ne? SNS is one of the vocab shorts. Yes, it's from a vocab. It's from my YouTube shorts. Thank you. Yeah. This is what happened in real life. I think it was a fellow VTuber who was eating kaisendon. So I saw a photo of kaisendon on SNS and zutto I wanted to eat it. Kaisendon, by the way, is sashimi donburi. Kaisen is actually the name for seafood in Japanese. Shashin is photo. Interesting, isn't it? You photograph or you copy the truth. That is what photos are. ずっと for a long time. はい。ということで、yay, next. Sorry, I'm on a rush tonight. You wrote pretty clean and neatly for a person who is on a rush. But yay, good job. ありがとうございます。で、何々の you're already on that line. 何々の Yeah. It's always the end that gets confusing, so remember. No, they end with the little circle. I can see that your handwriting is improving. One thing, if any of you are interested in improving your handwriting, one thing to keep in mind, in Japanese, is to follow these like little grid system. Do you see that the paper Glipner-san is using has 4 squares, 4 parts within a square? You can look at the placement of certain strokes and lines and try to copy that using this grid system. That is how you will be able to improve your handwriting, usually. Hope that helps. ということでね。そう、あんまり英語とかではないですけど、日本人、字の綺麗さとかにすごいこだわるのでね。In Japan, it's kind of harsh sometimes, but your handwriting can sometimes be a reason why you can get a job or you get like better, percentage of like landing a job. How clean your handwriting is apparently matters a lot. I hope my handwriting was good enough. Couldn't use them yet since I couldn't print them. It's okay. If any of you have like tablets, those work too. I don't know, that's one thing that I do like about Japan. You can just print, even if you don't have a printer, you can just go to the convenience and print them out. はい、ということで Next. はい、リンさんですね。本当に毎日ありがとうございます。Again, thank you so much for doing this so consistently. No Japanese work for me. It's okay, even I got a job. I'm scribbling out a lot of kanji, but grid paper seems a bit too large to write comfortably. If you find them big, you can try to find the smaller ones. It's hard, isn't it? But so in Japan, at least, when we are practicing our handwriting, we use bigger squares because writing them bigger helps with cleaner lines. When you are trying to write like a normal note, we go for smaller papers. I don't know if that helps, but I hope it helps. Okay, 今ホテルの値段は高くなってます。そう、物価がね、上がってね、inflation is hitting the hotels. Over-tourism is also hitting hotels. And I was helping my husband, look for a hotel to stay at for a work trip, and it's going crazy. All the hotels are going so expensive because of over-tourism. We were like, we have a budget. It's more like he had a budget, but ちょっとホテルね、高くなっててびっくりしてます。Also, not 高くなる You don't need the 2 dots. はい。But good job. ね、漢字難しいのにね。すごい。頼みます。You are learning the go down forms. Yes. The ない format 頼みます。ます form 頼む。This is the plain or the dictionary format 頼める。頼めます conditional. Or this is what I usually call able to do. 頼もう let's volitional. そうです。For those of you who are wondering, knowing the hiragana is going to help a lot when you start learning verbs. What Lin-san is working on is the verb tanomu. This one, tanomu means to order. tanomu. In Japanese, depending on the last letter of the verb, the meaning can change and the way that you conjugate changes. Cat さんこんばんは。ようこそ。So, if you look at any of the verbs that you know, you probably have them under the plain format or the dictionary format. 食べる、頼む、寝る. They all end with a vowel, u at the end. Do you hear that? 頼む、食べる、読む. They all end with a vowel sound of u. When you change that vowel sound to a, it becomes a condition that you can change it into a negative format. 頼まない。You put ない on it, becomes negative. 未然形になりますね。There's other verb conjugations that you can use with this format too. But by adding ない, it simply becomes the negative. 頼まない。食べる。食べるは違うわ。グループ2だ。This also only works for group 1 verbs, so keep that in mind. Verb changing is so difficult. It is difficult, but once you get used to it, it will become more natural. Always remember, our brains have this great ability to start being able to recognize rules of languages and grammar. So the more you work on it, the better you'll become. So don't worry, you'll memorize. One day. Hi. Jay さん、こんばんは。Hello. Okay. Great job on the hold on verbs. My personal advice is to try not to memorize all of them at once. Go them one at a time. I usually would recommend people to learn the masu form first, and then maybe learn the negative format, and maybe then the volitional. But just just try to learn them one at a time. There's over, I believe, 40 different verb conjugations in Japanese, and if you try to learn 5 of them at once, it's going to be really hard. So try to knock them out one by one. I know the words are similar, but words like that make miru and miseru 2 different base forms. That's a good question. Both of them have the same base form miru. This is also a difference in verb conjugation, actually. To make somebody do is the format. 見せる、食べさせる、読ませる. This also follows the changing of the verb format. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, the root verb is the same for both of them. The root verb is always still miru. Hi. Although I know the meaning if I see it, but when I want to speak it, I always forget which it is. I know it's always hard. My personal advice in those situations is to actually just memorize a few sentences. Literally memorize sentences that uses those formats with 5 different verbs. For example, if you want to learn and memorize, to start using miru and miseru, and the make somebody else do something format verb conjugation perfectly, I would recommend for you to memorize 5 or 6 different sentences using different verbs that uses that format, and try to memorize a longer sentence. For example, something along the lines of I forced my brother to watch a horror movie with me. 私は弟にと私は兄にホラー映画を見せました。Well, that would be I forced my brother to watch a horror movie. And then you'll be able to memorize it as, oh, it's forceful, 見せる. You know, the more sentences you memorize that way, like your brain will start to register. So yeah, it might sound like a long ways or like almost like a roundabout way, but it will help a lot. Thanks. I've seen a few examples and they usually show up as different vocab. It made me wonder. Yeah, it's hard. Some people can't consider them as the same verb but different vocab, if that makes sense. Like, you know, eat and ate in English, they can be considered two vocabularies, but the root verb is the same, you know? And so both of them are correct in a way. Hope that helps. ということで、That was a little bit about the 語談 forms. 語談活用についてでした。The 語談 forms are kind of hard. Did I respond to this? Or did I just not? あれ? Can I check really quick? Oh, I did. Oh my goodness. Okay, moving on. Not giving up, but slowly losing my mind due to it. I know. It's always hard to balance, isn't it? Okay. I need to point out something here. Well, make sure that your line doesn't stick through. If the line sticks through, it looks like ma. Although thankfully there's not a single hiragana that looks like this, the correct way is to not have your line stick through the ceiling of this line. For ho. Ho はね、線が上に突き出ません。But other than that, I can see how good your handwriting is. So good job. 素晴らしい。ね、そう、子供の日は祝日でしたね。If I survive this week, I might make it. Yay! Surviving a week is a huge accomplishment. ね。ね? Do you see that? Do you see this? Lean-san and Gleipner-san is like so consistent. You know, I hope that you both know that this is huge for me. Like, it's huge motivation for me. So thank you. So, go down forms. Second track. あげない、あげます、あげる、あげられる、あげよう。ね、絵はね、難しいですね。Second group. Yep, so first group, second group, third group, they're different. 焼かない、焼けます、焼く、焼ける、焼こう。あ、そう。This is what I mean by you want to start by memorizing the 3 verb groups of Japanese when you learn this. Because depending on the different verb groups, the way you conjugate those verbs are different. Do you see this especially? The あげられる、あげる turning into あげられる、焼く、焼ける. It sounds very odd, isn't it? For group 2, you add られる, and you take out る and you substitute it with られる to make the verb into the for somebody to do. あげられる isn't really a commonly used phrase, but you know, it's great for practices. 焼ける、焼ける. This one, you change the sound, the vowel of ku into it ending sound of the same line, which is ku, ke, and then you add ru. So the equation, I guess, in a way, is different. So keep that in mind. If you feel like you're about to give up, don't worry. I'll teach you. Good job, Lean-san. And then Lean-san, Tenki. So Tenki no ko, weathering with me, I believe, in Japanese is Tenki no ko. Tenki, weather. Ko, child. Child of weather will be the direct translation. sometimes they change the name of movies in different languages, probably to fit the context in better. So it's always nice to memorize and learn Japanese words from different movie titles. Again, Withering with me is Tenki no ko. Tenki means weather. Child of weather. Like Suzume, the most recent Shinkai Makoto Kantoku's movie, in Japanese is Suzume no Tojimari. Tojimari is usually a term used in Japanese when you lock your house. Like you lock the doors, you make sure that windows are shut. And so that's what she's doing. She's locking the doors, right? But Tojimari isn't necessarily a word that exists in English, so to say. And so they just decided to change the title and simply make it Suzume. So Suzume no Tojimari in Japanese means something along the lines of closing the door of Suzume's. Which obviously will sound very odd in other languages, so... Yep. Okay. 私の家族は今日ここに今忙しい週末を過ごすつもりです。家族はね、大変ですよね。ラリルレロ。This is awesome. Good job. ラリルレロ、you're almost there. せめて部屋掃除したいね。せめて部屋掃除したい。忙しい。はい、ということで、イエーイ We have レム。レムちゃんだ。The closest word in English is probably lockdown, actually. Well, yeah, but lockdown, well, Tojimari is more of like you close the doors and the windows before you leave the house. I feel like lockdown is more of like you really close everything down. And in Japanese, we don't have the Japanese term that would probably have the same nuance as lockdown, so we just use lockdown. We just borrow words from each other. So colorful. I love how colorful your notebook is. すごくない？かわいい。Okay, so I see that hiragana is red, kanji is green, the furigana is blue, and the meaning is in purple. ひらがなが赤で、漢字が緑で、振り仮名が青で、意味が紫。What pen is this, by the way? It's so cute. Black paper with colored pens looks so cool. I know, and I kind of really want to know what color pens these are, because they look like almost like colored pencils. I personally really like thicker pens. クモレームレームちゃんレームとマリさんあ、バッドアップルがプロセが来ましたね Do you know that Bad Apple is now on Project Sekai? STA Mythical Pens. Is that the name? Sorry, let me look it up so that I can あ本当だ STM pen かわいい It looks so good あ、メタリックなんだ10色セットで1273まあまあか It's 1273 yen with 10 of them かわいいはい、metallic pen. Oh, metallic pens. Thank you. So, bad apple ね。流れゆく時中でそぼけらるさがほらくるくる回ってね。I don't know if all the kanji are correct. 私の家族はここです。家はうるさいです。全部合ってます。Your kanji is correct. Don't worry. はい。Bad Apple is in every rhythm game. It feels like I should know. He plays them and found it in everyone and he played. Yeah, Bad Apple is so good. Okay, so I think I figured out how I'm going to split catching up on the words. Good! Hi, you can learn from my shorts. I can do this. Learning 6 to 8 words, maybe? You will catch up in no time. はい。ということで、ゆきさんありがとうございます。Thank you, ゆきさん。I know it's hard, but we can do this. We can all catch up. I believe in you. I believe in us. はい。ということでね、頑張りましょう。Okay. Didn't realize I was behind a few days. I know. I like every day when 9 o'clock hits, I have an alarm set and I go like, I stress. So hard doing this for every day, isn't it? But I think even if they don't know, the franchise people have listened to that song. It was my elementary school day, like thingy. 私の小学生時代の青春バッドアップルニコ動がね全盛期でしたものね。同じ数分前歯医者の虫歯はね良くないからね。 We can catch up in no time too ってことで今週の歌は Bubblegum Crisis バラのソルジャー知らないかも。オーロラだーBy the way, aurora in Japanese is aurora too. I mean, the northern lights in Japanese is aurora. Like Sleeping Beauty. We don't have a Japanese term for it. So, 日本語のオーロラって単語がないからオーロラって呼びます。ね、it's so pretty. Did anybody see it? 私は昨日もね、ちょっと体調崩してたからもうパパと寝ちゃった。I mean, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to see it, but I just went to bed kind of early-ish. So I didn't have a chance to check it out. 綺麗。オーロラ。綺麗。オーロラ綺麗です。いいですね。OK! イェーイはい、ということで、ゆきさん。すごい、ひらがなすごい。あら、時間使う有限汁登るたくさんね。Missing out 61 extra words. 61 extra words isn't bad at all. What about Hokkyoku? That might be Chinese. Dora looks so pretty. I know, it's so pretty. Maybe that was a word that was used in the past, but oh, apparently it's only called Hokkyoku if it's closer to the North Pole. It's a difference between aurora and northern lights, I guess. I don't know, is it different? Southern lights, northern lights? I mean, I guess in Japan there will only be northern lights, even if you could see it. But we usually can't see it in Japan anyway, so yeah. ね。ひらがなすごい。そう、ひらがなとカタカナね。勉強すればするほど良くなります。簡単になりますからね。Again, remember, the more you practice ひらがなand カタカナ, the easier things will be in the future. You're doing great. あ、待って、すごい、リーテンさんだ。イエーイってことね。見て、checking in a bit behind the target pace, but trying to build a habit of studying and reviewing each day. Wow! Since I've studied some vocab before, I'm able to add 1 or 2 new words with each daily short. Oh, that's awesome! That's actually not a bad track record. 投資お惣菜とかね。If any of you realize that you maybe don't have enough, you already know quite a bit of the words from YouTube shorts, you can always go and watch my Learn Japanese from Anime series. I know I'm really behind on that. I'm stressing out about it. especially Wolf and Spice, or the new title is Merchant Meets the Wise Wolf. Since they talk a lot about economics, I think I cover a lot of words that you wouldn't hear in other places as much. So that's just a little thing I would like to let you know. So, 狼と香辛料経済だからね、経済用語もたくさん出てきます。投資とか資本とか国債みたいなね。like investments, I don't know what else, but things that has to do with economics. My vocab chapter looks cute. あんまり使ってもらえてないから。なんでキラで出んだ？キラキラ。はい、キラキラで出た。はい。Thank you. ありがとうございます。Instead of piling on extra words, I've been spending time reviewing what I already know, so I'll catch up more later. Awesome! You can do this. You're doing great. ってことで、今日は以上かな？ Okay, I know I wasn't supposed to spend this much time, but I always do, so my bad. ってことで、ありがとうございました。Thank you so much again to all of you for joining this and doing this with me. Okay, sorry, we'll spend the rest of the time going through any of the questions you might have. Sorry, let me try to finish by 11:30 because I think I really need to go to bed. My shortness of breath is apparently from my depression, but I don't know, maybe my antidepressants isn't working well, or it's probably just the weather. ちょっとね、11時半には終われるようにすいません、今日させてください。私のこの息切れはね、なんかね、あれじゃなくて、喘息じゃなくて、なんか、うつ病の症状らしいんですけど、なんでだろう。自分でもわかんないから。よいしょ。大丈夫よ。Okay, I need to change the color. 色選択。Okay. Why is it not working? あれこれ OK あ、finally よしよしよし There we go YayということでExcuse me Okay, does anybody have questions you'd like to ask? はい、質問ある方いらっしゃいますかWait, why did I put on the Q&A time? Okay, Q&A time. はい。In the meantime, I'm gonna look at something really quick. Oh. Under what hashtag do I have to send my dailies? It doesn't have to be daily, but it's Study with Mizuki 2024. It's this hashtag. I know it's such a long hashtag, so I might change it starting next year. I think I did it. Oh, I also sometimes make a typo. So, sorry if that's the reason why. はい。そう、私もたまにね、ハッシュタグ、スペルミスしちゃうから、ごめんなさいね。 いや、それに関しては本当にただただ申し訳ないと思っておりますOBS のフィルターからエフェクトフィルター、あ、これかな。クリック、違うな。Yeah, I did the details, but I've been always ignored, so I figured I did something wrong. Really? I'm so sorry. It also can actually be that you might be shadow banned. I don't know, because it sometimes happens to me. Because I usually try to do the latest, so I can see all of the posts. Because if I just do the top posts, I can miss some stuff. You know what I mean? So there can be two reasons why there might be a typo in the hashtag, or it can be that you're shadow banned. I don't know, I've been shadow banned like forever too, so I know how it feels. シャドーバーンがね、怖いから。なんでシャドーバーンってあるんですかね。私もよくシャドーバーンされる。Wait, did somebody ask? Oh, yay, question. すいません. I don't know why I missed it. Okay, thank you so much for asking a question, Lee-san. Is there any trick to know which verbs that ends in ru are ichidan or godan? Sadly, no. We don't believe it there to be one. Kiru and kiru are read the same. One's ichidan, the other is godan, right? So I'm guessing what you mean is what do you mean by ichidan or godan? Do you mean by like different verb groups? Sorry, is that what you mean? Or just simply 一段and 五段。あ、五段同士と一段同士ってことね。Okay, so usually there is a way, but it doesn't work always. There's exceptions. Group 1. Well, I'm just gonna write it in English for now. 五段 and group 2 一段. Okay, one way to figure out the differences is that group 1 ends with いる L. U ending verbs. で group 2 いる L ending verbs. So this is the normal way that you can figure out the differences. Godan or group 1 verbs are u ending verbs, and group 2 ichidan verbs are iru eru ending verbs. What this means is that the way they change are the way the sounds are a little bit different. For example, なんかあるかな? 読む。読む。Okay, what does 読む mean? Chat? Students? What does 読む mean? I'm gonna wait for somebody to answer my question. 読むってどういう意味でしょうか？ What does 読む mean? Read, yes. そうです。読む means to read. 読む。You can always try to listen carefully to the sounds, but if you are starting off, it's always okay to try to write them in ローマ字。Why is it in all caps? なんでキャプスロック聞いてんの？読む。読む。This one ends with sound with the sound. Do you see that? The last sound is the sound, and so that's why you know that it belongs to group 1. Group 2, for example, what are group 2 verbs? 食べるかな？食べます、見ます、見る、見ます。そうですね。食べる。はい、食べる。What does 食べる mean? 食べる。What does it mean? Gonna wait. 待ちます。私はちゃんと待てるから。Eat. そうです。食べる means to eat. If you write it in ローマ字, it becomes this. Do you see that the last 3 letters or the sound is える、食べる? This is how you can tell that it belongs to group 2. Just keep in mind that just as absent coder-san said, there are some exceptions. Like 切る, we have同音異義語 in Japanese. I think those are called homophones. 同音異義語って英語でなんだっけ？ homonyms. Words that sounds the same, that has the same spelling but means different things. We have a lot of those in Japanese, and one of those is 切る. 切る can mean cut, or 切る can mean to wear. Those ones, one of them does belong to group 1, the other does belong to group 2. So just keep in mind that there are some exceptions, but this is like the ultimate way to figure out which one belongs to group 1 and group 2. 読む. Yeah, but that 読む is like, still you can consider it as read. It's kind of hard, isn't it? But そうですね。はい。So, I don't know, Lee-san, does that make sense to how you can distinguish the differences between group 1 and group 2? Is that okay? Okay, I'm just gonna decide that you are okay. 大丈夫ってことにしましょう。Well, let's test. Using いる helps to filter a lot, but there's some like 変える still belong to group 1. Yeah, so those are exceptions. And so for those, I would say just memorize it, because it's kind of like I would say like there's exceptions for past tenses for the English language too. Like usually you would just put ed at the end, right? Like but then there's things like run, ran, or eat, 8. And then there's things like cut. Those you just have to memorize it and realize that they just don't follow the rules. So other than that, the only way to go around is to just simply memorize. But don't try to memorize the groups, I would say. Just try to memorize the conjugated words instead of just going through and be like, oh, this is group 1, this is group 2. Knowing what group 1, group 2, or what godan, ichidan is will be useful and is useful. But that's kind of like knowing the basics. It's kind of like knowing that, looking at the keyboard and trying to type when you start typing on a keyboard. Eventually you'll start just being able to blind touch, and that's what you want to do. So just keep in mind that knowing those groups or godan, ichidan will be kind of like looking at the keyboard and figuring it out. But yeah, just know that there will be exceptions. Other than that, I don't know. Exceptions are just exceptions. I wish I could say otherwise, but the easiest way to go around it is to memorize it. Yeah, ごめんなさい. No worries noted. Yeah, but I mean, I still question why plural of sheep is still sheep and plural of fishes is still fish, and why the past tense of read is read even though the spelling is the same, Sometimes it's important to ignore our questions because if you keep on dwelling on the question, it's a universe that keeps on expanding. Okay, if that's the case, let's test. Okay, I just wrote down a verb at the very end of, well, look at the blackboard, everybody. I want you to read it and tell me which verb group it belongs to. はい、今動詞を書きました。この動詞は何と読んでどの動詞グループに属するか教えてください。If the plural of goose is geese, then surely a plural of moose is meese. Yeah, meese would be a cuter way. Mice, mouse, rabbit, rebbit. I mean, octopus is octopi, right? Not octopuses. English is weird too. I like meese. Sounds like cheese. Okay. How do you read this verb? And which group does it belong to? We'll do 3 verbs. Time to learn about the great vowel shift and how the English language got standardized in writing while the pronunciation was changing. Sucks. Language is weird. Languages are, I would say, fascinating, but it can be weird when you're trying to learn it in the purpose of communicating. The thing about English is that learning it is like learning 4 languages at once. Does that mean that I'm a genius for being able to knock out English? There's a few competing forms for the plural of octopus. It's weird. I go with octopi because it sounds the most academic for some reason. Group 1, you are correct. This is group 1. Kaku is group 1. Godan verbs. 100 points to Gryffindor. I don't know what house you belong to, but 100 points to Gryffindor. To write group 1. So this Kaku is godan. It's group 1. Hi. So 書きます。書かない。書かない。書く。書かない。書きます。書く。書ける。書こう。 Group 1. Okay, next. 何にしようかな Okay, go ahead. Next verb. 次行きます。I'm trying not to read it out loud. Trick question. So this is a trick question. This is group 3. There are 2 exception verbs in Japanese. One of them is this one. This is group 3. Suru. The other one that belongs to group 3 exception is kuru. Suru and kuru. Suru means to do, kuru means to come. Remember, those two don't follow the equation or the rules for godan or ichidan, or group 1 or group 2. For those two, it's so much easier to just memorize the conjugated formats, okay? Can anybody tell me what the masu form of these two are? What is the masu form? これのマス形は何でしょう？します、きます。You are correct. します、きます。I want you to remember します。します is the masu form of する。する、します。来る、来ます。Especially remember します because you'll see this everywhere, like literally everywhere. You put a noun in front of suru and it changes the noun into a verb. One of the things you definitely know is, for example, 勉強する. 勉強, study. 勉強する, a verb that means to study. 勉強します. The reason why します will be important, するします is important, is because a lot of the newer ideas will use する and します. When I say new ideas, like more modern stuff, and when I say modern, like literally, you know, in the past couple of decades, kind of modern, like, you know, somebody decided to change the great social media Twitter into X, but I refuse to admit that it's not Twitter anymore. Twitter had interesting branding, and one of the branding that it did was to make a new word that means to post on Twitter, which is to tweet. The term tweet didn't exist in Japanese, obviously, because it was a newer idea, although it did use the original English word that means, like, you know, burst, chirp, tweet. But having that said, Japanese decided to just import that word and change it into katakana, and in Japanese, when we say you tweet or post on Twitter, we say ツイートする. ツイート is a noun. If you want to make that into a verb, you have to say ツイートする. So yeah, するします is very important. Okay. Thank you so much for asking. Next question. Anybody has another question? はい、次ある人。18 more minutes left. あと18分あります。The platform formerly known as Twitter didn't つぶやく become the word for posting these? Well, yeah, つぶやく, but it's not really that commonly used. ツイート is a lot more of a... Okay, if people say つぶやく, they sound like they're at least in their 30s or 40s. They're like millennials. Okay, I'll leave it there before I start mocking people unintentionally. There's certain things like that. Excuse me. Like, if you say ketai in Japan, ketai mobile phone, you're probably a boomer. People would just usually say sumaho or iPhone or Android. What else? If you use certain emojis, you're probably a oji-san. Yeah, things like that. Well, 大丈夫そう? Anybody has any more questions? If not, I might actually get going if you wouldn't mind. もしね、なんかこれ以上質問がなさそうだったら、ちょっと申し訳ないんですけれども、私ちょっと行くかもしれない。寝るかも。They said go and rest. Okay, I guess I'll go and rest. That's the case. I'm gonna write the end. Hey. You know, it's all the weather. If you live in Japan or if you're visiting Japan, you know how crazy the weather has been. もうね、全部ね、この気候が悪い。気温の変化が激しいから、you know, one moment you feel like you're already in summer and you're sweating, and then the next moment the temperature drops down all the way to like 19 degrees to 15 degrees. If it wasn't for this weather, I would have been feeling so much better. Stupid weather. It's the same everywhere. I know. Global warming, climate change. I mean, I tried to fight climate change in my own ways, but it's okay. The world is already perishing. Our cherry blossoms are dying. But summer is okay. I can enjoy ice cream. はい、ということで皆様お疲れ様でした。Thank you so much for being here. And again, I'm so sorry for today. I will try to get better. 気温が高くなりました。そう、気温が高くなりました。ホテルの値段も高くなるし、気温も高くなるし、もやしの値段も高くなるし。If any of you have ever been to Japan or have ever lived in Japan, you know that bean sprouts is the ultimate poor person food, right? One bag of bean sprouts used to be like 10 yen. The other day I went to a local supermarket and it was 28 yen. And I was about to faint. I thought I was gonna faint in the middle of the road. Looking at the price of bean sprouts. もやし28円だから今もう。Okay, quick update. Tomorrow, for those who are members of my channel, and again, sorry, members who are student level 3, you'll have my very first karaoke stream at night. So, yeah, if you are a member level 3 student, just know that it's happening. はい。ということでね、一応ね、メンバー、生徒レベル3の皆様、明日、初歌枠あります。以上です。 Okay, again, thank you for being here. I will see you again soon. それでは皆様ごきげんよう。おやすみなさい。バイバイ。